So this section begins by talking about circadian rhythms. So, in sleeping and waking really. Circadian rhythms in humans are actually longer than 24 hours, but external cues like lights and daylight and things like that cause us to operate on 24-hour cycles. Actually, in studies run where people just are told to let their circadian rhythms run, they actually wind up not sleeping on like three. It was like 3 of those days because of the 25-hour cycle that we usually run on around 25. So human sleep exhibits different stages, and these stages are usually shown by um, electronic graphings of some kind. So usually it's an EEG, which is an electroencephalograph, which is used to define and describe and classify levels of arousal and states of sleep. So the different types of brain waves that are seen in the EEG show what level of sleep you're likely at. And it's usually supplemented with EOGs, which record your eye movements, and EMGs, which record your muscle tension, to show how, if you're in REM sleep, your eyes will be moving, obviously, because it's rapid eye movement sleep, and EMGs show with the type of tension in your muscles. So the different levels of things. The use of these actually led to the discovery of slow wave sleep, or SWS, and rapid eye movement sleep, which is REM sleep. So then it talks about the different levels of sleep. So it starts talking about alpha rhythms and the regular oscillation at frequencies of 8 to 12 hertz, and it's relaxed wakefulness. So it's right before you're about to go to bed, while you're laying down and likely going to fall asleep. Then there's vertex spikes, which are sharp wave EEG patterns that are seen during the first stage of slow wave sleep. And stage one of sleep is the initial stage of slow wave sleep, which is characterized by small amplitude EEG waves with regular frequencies, a slow heart rate, and very reduced muscle tension. Then it moves on into obviously stage two of sleep, a stage of slow wave sleep that is defined by bursts of regular 14 to 18 hertz EEG waves called sleep spindles. So obviously in the second stage, you'll have these random spikes in your EEG. Um, they also have these things called K complexes, which are sharp negative EEG potentials. Then it moves into stage three and stage four of sleep, which are very closely related, so they just call it stage three in this book. There are large amplitude, very slow waves that are made up of delta waves. So delta waves is these slow, large waves, and obviously with a low frequency, large amplitude, um, and a long wavelength. And then it moves into REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement underneath closed lids, and it's accompanied by breathing and irregular pulse rates. So and then the brain waves look awake, but the muscles are flaccid and responsive. So you'll have lots of movement in the EEG, but in the EMG, your muscles have no movement. Then the next section is entitled "How much do we sleep and when?" So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is average for an adult. 20% of it's REM, with 90 to 110-minute long cycles that happen 4 to 5 times a night, and they change as the night goes on. So early in the night, stage three sleep is in greater amount, with less coming later in sleep. So early in the night, you have larger stage three, and then REM becomes more prominent in later levels of sleep. And while the first one is shortest, while the last one, that the fourth or fifth, right before you wake up, could actually be around 40 minutes long. At puberty, circadian rhythms of sleep actually shift in most people, causing them to get up later in the day. So as you obviously hit puberty, usually you go from waking up around 8, 9, something like that, maybe to waking up at 10, 11, 12. And that's why a lot of teenagers and college students probably sleep till so late in the afternoon. It's actually talks about actually how shifting times later for high school showed an increase in attendance and enrollment, and a decrease in depression and sleeping in class. And then it talks about why our most vivid dreaming is during REM sleep. So dreams occur during all phases of sleep, regardless of what they are. But REM sleep is the visual imagery, the ones that we really remember. But where non-REM sleeps are the thinking dreams. So REM dreams are the story ones, so the ones that you wake up and you can tell your friends because they're weird or something. While non-REM is might just feel something, or be conscious of the fact that you're in a dream, but not really. Then talks about nightmares. So nightmares are long, frightening dreams that awaken the sleeper from REM sleep. So nightmares only occur in REM sleep, versus night terrors, which are sudden arousals from stage three of slow wave sleep, which are marked by intense fear and autonomic activation. So it causes sweating and shaking and chills and stuff like that. And there's no recollection of vivid dreams, but you remember a crushing feeling a lot of times, like suffocation almost, during the night terrors. And they're very common in children. Young children usually have them. And actually, medications can cause an influx of nightmares, but they're very